Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is J Cruz and welcome back to another video. It's new guitar day. Let's get it. I finally get to reveal this beautiful guitar that has been literally in the works for almost an entire year. A little bit of a backstory here. I was so obsessed with my Nash T52. It was a guitar that I built so far my YouTube career on, and I loved it so much. And I had a momentary lapse of judgment and I sold the guitar out of desperation, and I regretted it from the moment it left my studio. In fact, I'll link right up here the last video I made of it. So almost immediately after it left my home, I began researching and started the building process of this very guitar that's in my hands today. I took advantage of everything I learned from that guitar, applied it to this guitar, so the feel, the sound, all kind of resembles the Nash T52 if I'm being perfectly honest, but the look and the accessibility of the truss rod are really the only two changes to this guitar. I am extremely proud of this build. This was not easy, and I'll explain some of the challenges that we had later on in the video. But for now, let's go over some of its details. So though aesthetically this guitar may look a little different, its specs are virtually identical to the Nash T52. The same profile neck, relatively thick as you can see. The body's exactly the same. I even went with the same exact pickups that Nash uses. This is a Lawler Vintage T on the neck and a Lawler Special T on the bridge. The only difference is that this is a B50, not a B5. There are some things aesthetically that really make this thing stand out. Obviously this pick guard, something that I spent a lot of time looking for because I knew that this was gonna be sort of the focal point of the guitar. These knobs are like radio knobs, old school radio knobs. I had to retrofit them on this guitar. Believe it or not, the thing that actually made this guitar perfect for me was this brass switch tip here. I feel like it aesthetically tied this entire guitar together in a way that I just can't even express. Of course, you can't talk about the aesthetic and the look without mentioning the color. This is an Aztec gold with a white underneath, and also has that green thing happening as it gets a little bit older and more relic as time goes on. If you look closely and catch it in the right light, you'll see this checking thing happening and all of the cracking in the lacquer. Of course, it wouldn't be a J Cruz Model T without having my logo on the headstock, but more importantly, what does it sound like? What does it play like? So let me quickly show you some tones, some of the stuff that I would normally use it for here in the studio, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss some of the challenges, the issues, let's just say, that I had with this guitar, or at least the process of it being built for me. Let's get it. So there you have it. That is the new and improved J Cruz Model T. However, there were some hiccups along the way that I feel obligated to talk to you about, because I want you to know, if you want to embark in something like this, I want you to know what kind of things could happen. Worst case scenario. I know some of you are going to ask me about the cost. Was it cheaper than the Nash T52? Technically, I think it was cheaper by maybe a few $100s, but not much. It was quite costly to get this thing rolling, especially in today's world with everything being marked up and wood being as kind of rare as it has become. Yeah, it was a little bit of a challenge. Not just that, but even the waiting process. Everything took so much longer than what it was originally quoted to take. Part of the challenge of this build was working with the company that actually started the process for me, which is the reason why I decided not to reveal in this video what company that was. Believe it or not, though I love this guitar and how it turned out, that wasn't the original idea behind it. The neck was supposed to be a much different tint of color, and it was supposed to be just a totally different feel. The company made a mistake with the spray. They blamed it on me. I was pretty clear with what I wanted, multiple emails and pictures. Then they decided that they wanted to try to upcharge me and charge me a fee for respraying the neck, and it was just a mess. Long story short, I ceased work with them and I asked them to send me what they had. And when they sent it to me, it just wasn't very good. I actually had to hire a luthier, a professional luthier, to complete the process. He ended up having it for almost 3+ months because it took him so much work to get this guitar to sort of get married together. Not only did this cost me time, but it also cost me a lot more money because I invested so much already into making the process get started. I had set a budget for myself and I wanted to stick to that budget, but that just didn't happen. I probably went over budget nearly $500 to $700 easily. I say this not to trash the company, but I actually say this because I want to give a quick shout out to someone who really saved the day on this guitar, and that was my luthier. His name is Chris Matos from 812 Guitars out in Greenwich, Connecticut. I will link all of his stuff down below so that you can get to him. He's got a pretty quirky, fun Instagram page that you'll get a kick out of, but it also could be very informational, where he gives tips and tricks on how to maintain your instruments, or at the very least how to know when it's time to bring your guitar to a luthier. He works on new stuff, old stuff, formal metalhead, but knows the vintage stuff as well. So he's got a great deal of knowledge, over 30 years as a luthier, and his experience definitely shows. I don't want to turn this into a negative experience because clearly the guitar is here, it plays great, it sounds great in my opinion, so I'm no longer worried about that experience, but I want you to know the hiccups that you can get into. Building a guitar isn't always as glamorous as it may seem. Though this wasn't 1000% on the nose the way that it was supposed to originally look, I love how it came out. I'm more happy, I think, with this version than I would have been with the version that was originally in my head. So I guess God knows all things type of an experience here. I want to once again thank Chris Matos of 8112 Guitars over at Greenwich, Connecticut for piecing this thing together, for saving the day and being able to make my dream a reality. I even want to thank the company, even though I won't mention their name, who started the process, because obviously Chris wouldn't have had anything to assemble if it wasn't for the fact that they at the very least started the job. Maybe they didn't end it, maybe it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to, but I'm thankful that it came out the way that it did because it turned it into an instrument that I'm very, very proud of. Let me know your thoughts on this guitar, how it looks aesthetically, how it sounds. Most of all, I think it came out great, but I'm curious to know your opinion. Don't forget, I'm still on my road to 3,000 subscribers, so if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel. I have a giveaway going on. I'll link the original video right here where I discuss the giveaway. That way you can enter the contest at your leisure. While you're doing all the things that help the channel grow, like the video, check out some of the affiliate links in the description box below, which do help the channel financially just a little bit. If you'd like to donate to me and the channel directly, you can hit the thanks button that YouTube includes in all of our videos now. Any little gift is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and until next week.